o'clock, and Anne was, yeah, Anne's supposed to have time for garden chat. So,
Well, yeah. I was just going to see what people were planning on doing because, as I said in the e-blast that I sent out, it's December, which is kind of like the dead zone for gardening, at least for most of the country. I know you have people out in California and other higher zones that can garden all year, but January is usually the month when they start sending out the seed catalogs. So I said everybody can start planning, and I know that this year I'm going to actually start this week. I'm going to see if I can grow a lot of greens in my basement. I'm going to start that. Last year I started onion seeds in January, and that actually did okay. I actually got full-size onions. So if you want to save money and just buy the onion seeds, I suggest, people can start that. This last year, my carrot crop, probably my longest carrot was this long. So this year I'm gonna totally put them in a different bed, do stuff like that. But I wanted to let me share my screen real quick here.
okay, I was just going to share mine with Neighborhood Food Network, but you go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm pretty sure that so this is M.I. Gardner, and I was on his YouTube call when he launched his seed shop for this year, and he's a really great guy from Michigan. Him and his wife started this business, and he has not raised his prices. He is still only charging $2 a packet.
That's crazy good.
Yeah, so that's an option. I sent that out.
So you've purchased from him for a while?
Oh, I purchased a lot from him.
Do you like his seed germination rate? Because
yes.
I have bought seeds from some other companies besides Baker Creek. Baker Creek has a very good seed germination rate. And I bought some seeds from another local company. I'm not going to mention their name, but I was very disappointed with the seed germination rate because I don't think they have the funds to test. Do you know what I mean? For seed germination. By that, I mean, sometimes when you plant 10 seeds, only 6 of them will sprout, right? Or 8 of them will sprout, or 50% of them.
No, I had very, very good luck with them. And okay, I mean, I still love Baker Creek, and I'm looking forward to getting my 600-page catalog from them.
Oh, yes.
But, yeah. They have some different varieties here that I want to try out. And I don't know if you guys, but I probably made about $600 last year selling starts for $2 a piece, and everybody was thrilled that I was only charging $2 a piece.
Yeah, a lot of places by tomato, and you mean by tomato plants. Most stores charge
tomatoes and peppers and
$4 or $5 for them. Yeah.
So I'll be doing that too, and I've been buying used lights from people, and everything worked out good. So yeah, January's kind of but and then also just start planning ahead about what do you envision for your garden this year. I mean, I have chickens now, so I'm going to be dedicating part of my garden to growing stuff for them. I noticed that whenever I hang I have an antique fork that's bent like at a right angle hanging from the inside of my run, and I go out there and I shove a big old cabbage in there, and they just have a blast. So anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to say, in that this time of year, but it seems like it's almost the middle of December. Okay, no, it's only the 4th, but before you know it.
Yeah, start planning, and looking at your garden beds. If you haven't covered them yet with mulching or whatever it is that you cover your gardens with, please do that. And I know we recently
did everything in leaves. I shredded a lot of my leaves, and I put them on top of all my beds, and in the spring my soil's so happy.
Yeah, we got leaves from our neighbor. And also, by the way, it's not too late to plant fruit trees. A lot of fruit trees don't want to be planted until December in certain areas because of you can't plant them until all the leaves fall off.
And they go dormant.
Yeah. So just keep in mind that it may not be too late for that for you, and depending on your garden zone. And if you go to we'll get to you in just one second. If you go to the Neighborhood Food Network, you can go to, I believe it's resources. Yeah. So You've got monthly planting by reminders by zone right here. If you don't have this, you definitely need to have this. So you find out your garden zone first. We also have that on garden zone. Where is that? Anyway, there's a place. Oh, so to find out your garden zone, we have a resource for that. And then you go to your garden zone and you click on it, and you can add to your Google Calendar or your Outlook or Apple or other calendars a reminder. So on the first of that month, every month, you will get reminders of what you need to do in your garden. So no excuse to not know, right? Whether or not this is the time to plant your tomato starts or whatever it is. So it's a very good reminder. Yes, Leslie.
I was going to ask if anybody is noticing an impact to their vegetable gardening from all of the geoengineering that's going on. It's so atrocious. Both places that I'm living, I just can hardly believe it. I mean, it's making things colder. It's minimizing the number of hours of sun that are available in the day. And it's really bad here. I just take pictures throughout the day of planes flying across the sky and the trails that they're leaving. And we'll start out with a beautiful blue sky almost every morning. And, you know, they get started and then it's just white. The sky's white. There's no blue. There's no sun. I don't
Yeah.
know. And
I'm
that's
sorry
toxic.
that it's happening all across the country. There's a movie, I think it's called Dark Skies. There's a lot of different movies about geoengineering that if you're confused about that, to please check that out. I would really encourage hoop houses. I mean, personally, that's on my list of something that we need to have is, you know, it's like a protective covering, right? Over your garden. If you
What
have a
is it?
like a hoop
What is
house,
it?
it's a hoop house that you could put over your garden. So
Okay.
like making it like a greenhouse.
Yeah.
It is warmer, so certain crops are maybe not going to do so great in that, but you could plant them in the cool season. But other crops will do fabulous, you know, tomatoes and peppers and things
Simple
like
but
that.
brilliant trick to heat your home in 90 seconds.
And
Sorry.
you get, yeah. And so, but it does protect from from sky spraying. So that is something for you to consider.
What material do you cover with?
Well, it depends. For some it's plastic, for some it's usually some
Okay.
type of plastic. Yeah, it's
Okay.
usually a heavy clear. It's
Thank
usually
you.
a clear plastic.
Right.
So it heats up the ground, but it protects as well. Many people have greenhouses that grow hydroponically. They say that is one of the biggest benefits, is that they don't get the chemicals from the skies. Also, they don't get the chemicals from the soil. Some soils are very heavy in lead and heavy metals. So that's another benefit of hydroponics. I personally prefer soil, but it's something that I think you get more nutrient density from that. And I'm sure Howard and many other people will rave about that all day long. But we've got to get going. It's after 8. So Pat, you have a question?
Had a resource that I just discovered and I'm excited about. A lot of us are on the West Coast, and I just purchased a bunch of native foods from Native Foods Nursery, and I'm very excited. They just arrived in beautiful condition today to be planted, native edibles. And they tell you both the parts of the plant that are edible as well as medicinal, and how to plant them.
Did you put a link in the chat? I can put that in the news.
I sent it to Zen actually in response to the meeting today. Maybe she didn't have time to see it.
Okay. I'll check it out.
I gave you the link. It's just nativefoodsnursery.com.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate it. Nadia, Nadia's saying to plant sunchokes. Why are you saying to plant sunchokes? 1 ounce brings you 4 pounds in 6 to 12 months of food. They are great fermented and leaves for the animal feed, and they make the soil better. Holy cow. I planted sunchokes last year. I didn't know that was the case. They bring you 4 pounds of food in 6 to 12 months, and they're great fermented. So yeah, so folks, there's so many foods that you can, crops that you can plant that are prolific. Like I had a weed called lamb's quarter that tastes just like spinach. It's a giant bush. It was like spinach for, I don't know, seemed like 6 months. Right. And there's so many things that seem like weeds that are actually food. Yes, Anne.
They're literally saying that lamb's quarters probably saved a lot of people from starvation in the depression.
Yeah,
And
depression.
Mark Dudla also said that if you have lamb's quarter growing in your garden, that's a good sign that your soil's in good shape.
That's
So-
great.
So you gotta be, so instead of looking at these weeds, and I bring them in and I throw them in my smoothies. I was dehydrating them for my greens powder. And then you were talking about fermenting, and I want to let everybody know that at our meeting in January, Valerie's going to be talking about fermenting sauerkraut and what was it? Salads, layered pressed salads.
Pressed salads, yeah, and naturally fermented pickles.
So yeah, I'm very
Fantastic.
excited about that. So
Yeah, folks, I just have to say, I think one of the most important things that we can do is get together, especially we women, with other women in our local community and do things like ferment foods. Just get to know each other, connect with each other. Like Kelly was talking about with the 5G tower, she needed to get to know neighbors and people in her local area in order to be powerful around this and have any kind of chance at all in preventing it. So the number one thing that you can do, and I've heard this on prepper websites and podcasts and radios with people with millions of followers, the number one thing you can do is get to know your neighbors. It really is important, because if anything comes up, any type of natural disaster or any type of celebration or any type of, emergency, you want to know your neighbors and be able to share with them, connect with them, rally with them, get to know them, support them. If they have an emergency, they support you. It's really important. So I hope that you will do that. And we just having somebody new come in, but we're going to be closing out now. And any last closing thoughts? And thank you for the garden chat update. How do you avoid the vax topic with neighbors? You know what? Why avoid it? It's an opportunity to share information. And just like I did with the veterinary vaccines in the very beginning of the conversation, you don't have to be weird about it. You don't have to be pushy about it. You can just say, yeah, you know what? Oh, here's the tip. Okay. Out of my book. If you don't have my book, Unstoppable, you should get it. I have in here a whole conversation about how to talk with your friends and family about GMOs. You can also use it for vaccines. One of the tips is feel, felt, found. Yeah, I know how
Love
you feel. I know how you feel about vaccines. I vaccinated my kids. I thought it was like going to really, give them a great boost in their immune system. But you know what I found? I found that when I read the ingredients of vaccines, I was really shocked that there's aluminum in there and polysorbate 80 and polyethylene glycol and a whole bunch of things that I really felt uncomfortable with. And then I found out there was a study that shows that kids that are not vaccinated are actually healthier than kids that are vaccinated because it affects their immune system. So I don't know. I think it's something to look into. Do you want to look into any studies, or do you want to check any information out? I found it was really helpful.
Yeah, and
Don't
I'm
have to
sorry,
worry
but
about it.
I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't know somebody who's been affected by this vaccine.
Yeah. Or you
that's
could
either
say,
died
what
or
I
been
found?
injured.
Yeah, you know what I found out? I found out that my neighbor's child was severely harmed by it, or my dad passed away after taking these vaccines, or but just give them one or two facts about the vaccines. Do not inundate them. Do not go on and on and on about all these bad things about it. Just give them one or two things and just say, would you like more information about that, or what do you think about that? Well, have you heard that?
And yeah, get them talking, because once you get them talking, then that's a win.
Yes, and let them ask you a question. Do not inundate them. Do not hound them with it. Okay, have them ask you a question, or you ask for them to give you permission to talk about it. So all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
We
So
could probably have a whole nother call on just
a whole
that.
nother call just on that. But for right now, we're live on Facebook. We'd rather not have, the whole thing taken down.
So there are a couple people who just came
Sorry.
into the call, and we're about to be ending it. So I want to let you know that this will be up on Rumble, and I will be sending out an email with the link and all the show notes with everything. So I think that's it for tonight.
Yeah, please let us know if you want other guests on the call. You can email us at info@momsacrossamerica.org. Please sign up on momsacrossamerica.org if you're watching us from Facebook to get the invitation for these calls, momsacrossamerica.org or .com. Sign up to connect. and also neighborhoodfoodnetwork.com. Sign up for our newsletter and you will get invited to these calls and you can ask us questions, speak to us directly, contribute information. And we really appreciate you being on. Thank you, Howard Vliger, for being our impromptu guest, and also to Kelly Ryerson of glyphosatefacts.com, and for all of your contributions, Pat Holland and everybody who contributed. We appreciate you so much. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be with us.
Good
Thank
night,
you.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.